It's time for another episode of All Right Bet.
Wanna bet?
All right, hey, welcome back, everybody. Andy, it is time for another episode of All Right Bet. Yeah, it is. It is.
But it's that time, man. It's another week. We're into what? Week 7 of the NFL.
Yeah, we are into week 7 now, and thank you everybody for coming over from part 1. Check us out over here on part 2, the Big Six pick. We got our guest picker lined up. We're going to bring him in just a minute, but real quick, we're going to run down last week's scores, Andy, and not one of the better weeks for you, my friend.
No, I knew it was a bad week, and I could feel it.
Yeah, 2-4, but, and this is a big but, +2 on the over-under, man. Now, the over-under has been crazy. I went 5-1 and went even on the over-under, which is huge for me because my over-under is terrible. You know that. And our guest picker last week, Nolan North, he goes 4-2 because you talked him hardcore into the Colts, or he might have been 5-1 as well.
I had sabotage.
But hey, we didn't lose to the guest picker again, so that's good. But he goes even as well. So that takes our season totals to Andy. You're 19-17, still above 500. Even on the over-under, that's huge. I'm 21-15, but -14 on the over-under. So that tiebreaker not looking good for me at all. There's no climbing out of that hole. I'm -14.
It's going to be tough.
That's going to be real tough. Yeah. And the guest pickers are 20-16 and even as well on the over-under. So clipping right at our heels there, man, huh?
Yeah, they're I'm going to turn it around this week, though. I'm ready.
All right, yeah, I feel like I am too, man. But we have had some really good guest pickers, and they are on their business. And this week, we got a guy that you all know. If you're listening to DWMOD, you know it. Every year, the playoff challenge. This is our other guy, Anthony Fanelli. We're going to be bringing him in right now to do the Big Six pick, and we'll see what he has to say about the name on your screen there, Andy. I see you changed your screen name.
Yeah.
Anthony, welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, I'm happy to be back. Nice to see everyone's names are plastered for everyone to see. It's a new year.
New year.
It's a new year. It's a new year. I didn't know that. I'm gonna hopefully not ruin the bell curve here for your guest pickers. They've been doing well.
They have. They've been doing well. But listen, man. As far as football goes, everybody's listening to the show. They know you. They know you were the winner the first time around on the playoff challenge.
I still have my trophy. Still have my trophy.
Yeah.
My light bulb trophy. It's a great trophy.
It lights up. You can plug stuff in. It's a nice little light for the nightstand. I don't know.
It's perfect.
It's great. Well, listen,
I'll bring it back this year in 23.
Yeah, well,
what you were wearing?
We'll see. We might have to have a new gift this year because everybody's won it once. So we'll have to go round robin on something new, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll put a suggestion in the suggestion email box, guys, and I'll see what I can scrape up.
Wait, I didn't even know there was a gift. Did I get a gift?
Yeah, I gave it to you at Sam's.
Oh yeah, the robot. The robot
light.
Robot.
That's handcrafted, fellas.
Yeah.
That's handcrafted.
He hand delivered mine as well. It was nice.
My wife saw the robot. She's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Mikey built it." She was like, "Okay."
That's a valid response. Not like mad or happy. Just like, all right.
I think if I had bought it, she'd have been like, "Take it back." But if somebody made it, she was like, "Okay, it's fine. It's like art."
Sentimental.
Yeah, you just put that bad boy on the coffee table, and it draws somebody's eye to go, "What is that?" Just like your wife said, you got all your devices plugged into it, and hey, you can plug the vacuum into that thing and turn it on, man. It works.
It works. It works.
That's great, man. It works, man. Well, listen, for those of you that maybe are just now new to tuning in to us now that we're doing the Big Six pick and we're doing All Right Bet on the DWMOD network here, maybe you don't know Anthony Fanelli, but I'm just going to tell you this now. If you've seen a television show or a movie in the last, 5 years or so that contained a police officer or a detective, that's just you, right? That's just you, right?
At this point, I think, honestly, my last six credits are officer. And at one point, I was doing a movie, and they're like, I think we're going to bump you up to detective just because of a wardrobe situation on this one. I was like, all right, cool. I got a raise.
You get a promotion. Well, here, let's check out.
I should have kept it then. I just shaved. I had a solid mustache going. I could have felt, but that's pretty much me. Yeah, some sort of not like the top guy, but like some sort of enforcement, like the middleman between like the hero and the bad guy. You know what I mean? Right in the middle there. My sweet spot.
Right. Well, listen, it's all over the place, and we're going to take a look at a few of them here.
Can we be frank with you?
Hands up! Wow, what a night for Miss Reiner. She looks over the moon. Ah!
You heard me, inmate. Gen Pop or solitary, your choice.
Technically, I make the pizza. This isn't an interrogation, Mr. Miller. We're simply asking for your help.
You see there, buddy?
That was so good.
All I'm thinking now is I just got to shave my head again. That's it.
Yeah, man. Or solitary. Your choice, buddy.
So it was also kind of intense. I liked it. I was like, Jesus, Anthony.
Then I'm offering you pizza at the end of the day. Everyone
nice.
gets some pizza from Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, I caught those Papa Murphy ads. I saw, and then I saw a big ass billboard of you at the airport, man, for this STCU credit union.
STCU, yeah, I'm a spokesman for STCU. It's a credit union up in the Pacific Northwest, and there was a time when the people from the company were spent. I was on like 35 billboards in like the Spokane area.
Yeah.
Like at one point. And so like the people I worked on with the shoe kept sending me the photos. And I was like, I'm sick of it. And I'm just getting texts of it. You guys are actually have to look at that driving by. Everyone's speeding that day to get past them. But yeah, that was funny.
Did you get to throw out the first pitch up there to Spokane
Indians?
I
did. I threw out at the Spokane Indians. I'd never done one before. But like the spokes, I was in the spokesman character. So I was in a full suit and like fitted suit. I was like, I can't throw. Like, I got to take my coat off. But I took about a 75% full wind up. I went from the rubber, not just the mount. I went from the top because I was like,
that's the way to do it.
I think I painted the corner. I think I did.
That's great, man. I've caught many games up in that stadium there and seen some Spokane Chiefs hockey games. I used to go up there yearly for this gig, man.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome little community. Not like a little community. That's a big city, but like Spokane, like the Indians baseball team. It was really. There's a similar stadium in Akron that I was pretty comparable. The Rubber Ducks. They're a AA. Spokane Indians are AAA right now, but they have a really good fan base. It was cool. It was a Thursday night game, and if it wasn't sold out, it was. Yeah, I didn't see any seats open. It was cool.
Great little town up there, man. A little nice kept secret. Spokane's a fun joint to hang out, man. It's great. I always love being up there, man. Hey, tell us a little bit about this new venture you got going on, this Rust Belt Club.
All right, and then we got to get off of me. This is about the game.
Listen, we got to hear about the Rust Belt Club for a minute, though, man.
Yeah.
Here's my elevator pitch that I'm just going to make up on the spot right now. So rustbeltclub.com, t-shirt of the month, and apparel shop. You're thinking, yeah, I've seen clothes. Well, you haven't seen them like this. So first of all, they're like wearing a cloud, and their designs you're not going to find anywhere else because they are people, places, and things that you would find on a cross-country road trip that no one's ever heard of, like Two Molars Tavern in Walnut Ridge, Ohio, or Foxhole Paint Supply Company, brushing since 1923. Shirts that if you wear them out on the street, people will be like, hey, what is that? Like, not in an antagonistic way, more of an inquisitive way.
Yeah.
So check out the shirts, rustbeltclub.com, RBC15 for 15% off your first order. And this is our soft launch. So there's only about 40 products right now, and that'll probably quadruple in the next 30 days with hoodies, crew necks. And for all you parents out there, we're running the toddler line as well. Nice. So if you want a trendy toddler hitting the soccer field, we're going to be the place to go to shop for that. So to give you an idea, one of our best sellers right now is a t-shirt design from Greg's Computer Camp in Briar, Washington in 1983. Quote, kilobytes of fun.
Nice. I'm a big fan of the Keystone Cowboy. That one's a good one, I think, man.
Keystone City Cowboy. We got him. He's a famous football player along with Grease Lightning. Grease as in Greece, not as in Travolta. And yeah, there's a whole slew of fun stuff. My one that's doing really right now is our Alabama James and the Canal of Carnage.
I was going to bring that up. That one's kind of the one I got my eye on.
Oh, well, I have two other his sequels. Alabama James, Canal of Carnage, for all you listeners out there, is a B-movie ripoff from a little-known character named Indiana Jones. So we have a whole series with him, and then a lot of other fun stuff with bands. Things people have never heard of and maybe never will, also some Rust Belt Club gear. We have mugs, travel mugs, canned glasses, which are really actually nice. I have a couple of them here right now. So if you're doing some online shopping,
check it out, man.
Yeah, just keep it in your web browser history or in your queue. You know, as Black Friday comes up here and then the holidays and everything, we're gonna have some cool Christmas themed and holiday themed stuff too.
Love it, man. RustBeltClub.com, guys. Get on there, check it out.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Was not expecting that. Thank you.
Oh, come on, man. You're the guest. You're the guest of honor this week, my friend. We're putting
I'm the guest. I wouldn't say I'm very honorable, but I'll take the guest.
Well, anybody that comes back on the show that was the playoff champion in the past, you are a guest of honor, my friend.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's jump into some football then, huh? Let's get into some Big Six pick this week, and let's start with the college football. Let's keep this thing rolling. Big game this weekend for both of these teams. A lot on the line. Let's start with Utah, and they're getting 7 points at USC. The over-under is at 56.5, and Anthony will let you kick it off, man.
All right. So if this was 2-3 weeks ago, coming up, I think my pick would be different. I watched Utah handle a pretty decent UCLA team, but USC take their last 2 weeks, and who knows what you're going to find. Caleb Williams looked like me out there last week, so I don't know what to expect from him. So I'm going to, even though it's at home, you're at the Coliseum, I'm still going to take Utah. I'm going to take them to win it outright, so give me the points. And then it's going to be a shootout. I don't understand how that over-under is only at 56 based on USC's defense and their offense, so give me the over as well.
And the over. Yeah, I think that's going to be the classic pick this week is the over. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Utah, but I'll say this, man. You hit it when you talk about USC's defense, right? Boo. I mean, big time boo. All right. And what's the recipe to stop Caleb Williams? I think Notre Dame kind of found it last week. It's just don't let him get rolling, right? Make him get a few mistakes. But here's what Notre Dame did: controlled time of possession, played tough defense, got him out of rhythm, got him to punt or throw interceptions, stuff like that, and they run the football. Guys, what does Utah do really well? All those things: defense, run the ball, time of possession. And as far as Caleb Williams, man, this little sidebar, guys. I know he's the consensus number one pick, slam dunk number one quarterback in this class. Listen, I'm not saying I don't think he's good, but I don't know that that's the case. I mean, yeah, his track record is bombing up stats against shit teams, but last year he loses to Utah twice, go to the bowl game, lose to Tulane, gets beat at Notre Dame. I don't know. I mean, you got to see what he does this week. Anyway, that's my little sidebar on that. But here's the thing with Utah, though, right, Andy? I'm going to quote you from a couple of weeks ago. That Utah quarterback, whoever he is, no, thank you. No, thank you. But they've made
got to get Rising back. Yeah.
Yep. They've made the switch to Barnes, though. They went off that kid. They're on Barnes. Barnes has been playing well. Last week he puts up 34 against Cal. Cal, not the best thing in the world, but hey, Utah putting up 34 points is big right now. I think the key to this game for Utah is don't let USC get going. Keep them thinking they're in that game last week where they're not sure about themselves. If they can stop them on the first couple of series, I think Utah's in this thing to win it. I'm going to take Utah +7, but I'm going to be on the under here, guys. I think they're going to try to hold on to the ball. Andy, what do you think?
Everything you said about Utah being kind of the same as Notre Dame is kind of where I'm at, right? USC is not very good. I mean, they're fine. They're going to be like a 9-3 type of team. To me, it's like kind of a classic Lincoln Riley team. It's kind of like his Oklahoma teams a little bit, like offensively awesome, defensively not awesome. I am also going to be on the dog here. I'm going to take Utah, and I'm also going to be on the under because I do think if you're taking Utah to cover, I think a shootout is not how it's going to be. I don't think Utah can survive. Last year with Rising, I think it was last year, they won like 42, 43, 43, 42.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't think if Rising plays, then, that over may hit more. But it's still going to be Barnes. I don't think Utah can survive a shootout. I think they got to eat up like 7-minute drives, 6-minute drives, 3 points, 7 points. And they're kind of hoping, the score at halftime is like 14-10. Because if that score at halftime is like 21-7 USC, it's over. And the over is hitting. The final score of that game is going to be 42-28, So I'm just going to bet if I'm taking Utah, I'm going to take the under.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to agree with that's an excellent point that you made at the end there, that if it's a 21-10 ball game or so, if USC is up a couple scores at the half, it's over because now Utah's got to throwing stops the clock. USC gets more possessions at playing from behind as Utah's not going to cut it. I agree with you 100%. Yep. Speaking of running the football, let's jump right into this next game. Tennessee +9.5 at Alabama. The over-under here is 49.5. And I'm going to tell you, like I just said, both of these teams, they want to run the football, and they have inconsistent quarterback play at best. I mean, their quarterback play is inconsistent at best, has been all year. They both give up exactly 105 yards a game against the rush defensively. Both of these teams identical in that aspect. Now, Milroe, he's been bad all year. And Andy, we talked about both these quarterbacks multiple times on the show. Milroe has been bad. Okay. But his last two games, and not against slouches, his last two games against A&M and Arkansas, he's 31 of 54, 471 yards, 5 TDs to 1 interception. This kid might have found something, man. I think Bama looks night and day from a couple of weeks ago to me. And Andy, I'm going to quote you again as far as Milton on the road. No, thank you. No, thank you, man. I mean, classic quotes from you that are standing out all year long, man. No, thank you on that. I'm going to take Bama laying the 9.5, and I'm going to take the under in this one. Andy, what do you think?
Mikey, right? We're going to be 2 for 2. I don't like agreeing with you.
It's not our thing.
I just don't like it. I know I'm feeling bad about it. And, I want to disagree with you on DWMOD a lot. This is what I want to do. But you keep hitting on some of my lucky pearls, which is Joe Milton will continually, this is now a month now I've been saying it about Joe Milton. No, thank you. He is not the quarterback for Tennessee. It's not what Heupel wants to run. It's not the right setup for Heupel. He cannot. He wants to sit back and throw these little moon balls and hope somebody catch. No. So I think Saban made a little bit of an error after that one game when he took out Milroe out and then he brought him back. But Alabama, if you really want to make a futures bet, it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting is Alabama to win the national championship. It's gonna be the hardest way to do it because they got to go beat Georgia. But boy, if there's one team that will be interested in beating Georgia, I mean every team's interested. But if there's one team that I think could do it, it's Alabama. So anyway, that's just a little sneaky one. I also like the under, and I'm not going to place $1 on Joe Milton. Not this week. There's no way. I can't do it. So get out of here. Give me Alabama. Give me Alabama up to 12. I don't care. I like Alabama and the under. I think that Milton's in trouble with his defense. So that final score to me is 28-17.
Yeah. I think, again, you make a great point with that. Bama, jump on them now because you're going to get some good odds. And I'm telling you, Georgia, look, they're the number one team in the country, but I don't think they're the Georgia team of the past. Somebody's going to get them this year, I think. What do you think about this game, Anthony?
I'm going to kind of stay on track. So Bama, goes without saying, this is the weirdest year for Bama in a while. From losing to Texas to how they're playing to close games here and there. It's usually not like that. So I'm going to stay on that track record. I'm taking the under because of the run game on both sides, like you were saying. Controlling the clock, just not as much offense, So I'm taking the under, but I'm going to give me Tennessee and the points because I think it's going to be close like last week for Alabama. I think somehow they'll saving it up and get a late kick, a late touchdown, something to go up, 2-3 to win it in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think it's going to be a low scoring affair, but I do think Tennessee will cover just because, 2 top 20 teams, SEC game, both with 1 loss. And, Alabama's track record in the past couple weeks. Come on. They're going down to the wire with cupcakes that are usually on their record or on their schedule, which is weird. And Tennessee you can never trust no matter who's behind center. So it's just but you kind of throw that out the window for an SEC for a game like this. So I think Tennessee will cover, but I'm going to take the under.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, junk touchdowns have been killing me on the spread all year long. So I think you're onto something there. No doubt about it. All right. Hey, our last one, game of the week. This is absolutely game of the week. Right up your alley, Anthony. You're an Ohio guy. We got Penn State catching 3.5, giving them the hook now, 3.5 at Ohio State. The over-under is 46.5. Andy, we'll start with you.
I have a future on Penn State to win the national championship at 25-1. Penn State is going this. Ohio. This is not the game that scares me for Penn State. The big one with Michigan, and that's at home. Ohio State scored 14. We're lucky to beat Notre Dame. Ohio State's going to lose. And is it going to be this week, or is it going to be against Rutgers? Like, when is it happening? Because it's happening, right? And it's going to happen. And they're going to lose a couple times. Ohio State likes to throw the ball, and that's kind of what they're interested in. You know who's really got a really good defense and really good against the pass? Penn State. And I'm not backing off Penn State now. I can promise you. I'm taking Penn State. I'm taking the money line. I'm taking the under. There's not going to be a lot of points in this game. I don't see. I mean, Ohio State. Look, they've had a little life the last couple of weeks, but for the most part, Ohio State looks flat. Ohio State's going to get caught this year, and is it going to be this week at home, or is it before Michigan? They're going to get caught before Michigan, and it's going to happen sooner than later. And I think it's going to happen this week. Give me Penn State. Give me the under.
Yeah. Well, Andy, I'm going to reiterate a couple of things that you said. Absolutely. Neither one of these teams, first of all, neither one of these teams have really played anybody outside of Ohio State playing Notre Dame. And both of them are coming off a couple of comp trips to the buffet. I mean, the last couple of weeks, they played Maryland, Purdue, Northwestern, UMass. I mean, and let me just tell you, they filled up at the buffet on those teams. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Ryan Day, as you said before, Andy, I just don't think not a good coach. I just don't think not a good coach, man, in big games. And we talked about how he went nuts after they beat Notre Dame. And to me, that whole speech just reeked of personal exoneration. I finally got the monkey off my back and won a big game. I've never won a big game. I always lose the big one. I finally won it. And he let Lou Holtz have the lightning rod on that.
Well, you remember, Mikey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you remember during that Notre Dame game, like Ryan Day as a favorite was like 1-8, 1-9 against the spread. Like it was something horrible.
Yeah.
And now he's like 2-8. So no way.
Yeah. He just doesn't win the big game. And I don't think this is his best Ohio State team either. I think he's got both those things working against him. This is going to come down to Allen versus Henderson. And I'm going to tell you, I just think Allen's going to get a lot more touches and have a bigger day. I love that Penn State defense. I think they're one of the best defenses in the country. I think they're going to show up, and you're going to hate this, Andy, but we, again, are going to be on the same page. I'm taking Penn State, the points, and the under. Anthony, you got to be on the Buckeyes, right?
All right. Ohio State, look, one of a kid from my alma mater is the running back, Chip Trayanum. So I'll cheer for him, but I think this year Ohio State is ranked third based on them being Ohio State. And I'm going to echo what Andy said. They're just not as good this year. Actually, both of you guys said it. Penn State is better than I think their ranking indicates. Now, I'm going to halfway agree with you guys. I'm going to take Penn State in the points, but I am going to take the over. Here's my theory. I think at some point in the game, both teams are just going to get off of their game plan and off script and just try to embarrass the other one, and it's going to turn into a lot of points. But I think Penn State is going to be the one to end up on top. Because I'm with you. Ohio State's going to lose. I was wondering, are they going to go into the Michigan game with 1 or 2 losses? And this will definitely be one of them. And they might have a surprise from Indiana or Rutgers or who knows who's going to shock them. But
2 weeks, baby. 2 weeks it's going to happen. I'm going to be on Rutgers.
This season when they were playing Youngstown State, and I know you're not, fully putting the gas on versus Youngstown State technically, but that first half, it was a game versus Youngstown State, and you're Ohio State. And that's pretty ridiculous, regardless of what week of the season it is. Kind of shows you what kind of team you have from the get-go. So I'm with you. This isn't Ohio State's best team. Hasn't been, probably their worst one in the past few years. So Penn State and the points, but I'm going to take the over.
Okay. All right. Well, Penn State, 3 ways on that one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
let's give a quick reminder to people. If you're going to take the dog, you also want to bet that money line just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You always want to put those two together, man. You always want to put them together. If you're taking the dog, take the money line because they might win the damn game outright. So absolutely. I'll be on Penn State as the dog. Last week, our big dog, we were on Stanford. Boom. They pulled it out. So that worked out. Yeah. I'll be on that one. It's a great point, Andy. We're absolutely going to do that. Let's jump into some NFL, but before we do that, we got to hear from our sponsors and what just happened with Gordon Butterfield on the call. Anthony, if you check these things out, man, we got minor league Hall of Fame baseball announcer Gordon Butterfield making the call for some of our sponsors on just regular videos, slices of life, sports videos, just people. They're pretty damn funny. Let's check in with Gordon to see what just happened.
What just happened? Brought to you by the Sports Authority. At the Sports Authority, you can gear up to look just like a pro, from little tacks to full-grown adults. But they can't help you play like one if you're not any good. So don't suck. That's the Sports Authority, a Chapter 11 company. Welcome back to Wee Paris for the final heat in the Indoor French Championships. And the man lining up behind the pole is none other than the favorite, Pasquale Larocque. They call him the Magic Man because once the pistol blows, poof, he's gone in a puff of smoke. A clean start. And there he goes, taking off on the heat. He'll start to pull away, and it looks like Larocque has done it again. Ha-ha! Alakazam! And just like Quibi, he disappeared immediately without any warning. Everybody's baffled. Well, let's try and take a closer look without revealing any industry secrets. We see as he crosses the finish line, everybody looks up to the clock for their times, and he disappears right through a trapdoor. Oh, David Copperfield. He leaves everybody scratching their heads. Even the finish line judge is trying to find out where he disappeared to. But like any sorcerer worth his salt, he'll never tell. Put him on the milk carton. He vanished into thin air. Oh, what just happened?
But there we go, right? Gordon,
Fantastic.
I mean, Gordon, always magical, my friend. All right, let's jump into the NFL here, guys. First game up on the docket, Dolphins plus 2.5 at the Eagles, who just blew that game to the Jets in terrible fashion. 51.5 is the over. Now, Anthony, that's your boys up there in Philly, right? So I'm gonna let you jump on this one first.
So it's weird, right? You would think it would be the other way. You'd think they'd be the dogs in this, even though they're at home, based on how they played last week. And because after last week, they might be trending down. Dolphins are obviously trending up. But I think the Eagles, I'm going to take the Eagles at under 2, but I am going to take the under. And it's because I think the Eagles are a rarity in the NFL where they will mess with their game plan based on who they're playing. There's a lot of teams that will script the kind of the same stuff, but I think they'll run the ball. I think they'll say keep their offense off the field. If we get a 50-yard drive and have to punt, that's okay. Let's just run the ball. I think Swift is going to go off for a little bit. I know they got the Julio just signed. I don't know if he's going to be on the roster yet technically, but that's going to be, who knows what that is. That could be a diversion tactic. I don't know. But I think the Eagles are going to – the Dolphins kind of let a stinker a few weeks back, and I think they're going to be a roller coaster all year, and I think they're going to catch them on, going downhill right here. The Eagles are, and I think they're going to bounce back big from that Jets game and win handedly, but I am going to take the under as well.
Okay, you're going to land on the under in this one. Listen, I'm going to tell you, the Dolphins, when they pull away from you early, they win. I mean, looking back over their schedule, every game they've been in this year, they pull away early, they win. When they don't, they lose. All right, when they got to play from behind or being a tight one, that's not where they want to be just because, they're gunslingers. Gunslingers like to play from the front. I don't need to explain any further to you guys. But listen, who plays close games or who pulls away from Philly? Nobody. Nobody's pulling away from Philly early. Philly plays close games and wins close games, and they play football games. And now the Dolphins are fun as hell to watch. I'll give them that. They're fun as hell to watch. But this is going to be a football game. And they need to show me that they can win a football game and not a track meet before I'm going to start putting money on them. That's just where I'm at with it, man. This will be a football game. But I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles laying the 2.5, but I'm going to take the over in this one because I do think some points are going to be scored. Andy, what do you think?
Last week, the unders in the NFL games went 12-2, just so you know. So regression has kind of set in a little bit. People are getting hurt, a little slower, blah, blah, blah. If I only had to make one bet this week, if you were like, here's $100, make one bet, and that's all you're making. This is the game I'm choosing because I'm going to pound the Philadelphia Eagles. I would bet it all on the Eagles. Like there's not like. Here's a couple things, Mike. You know this. We just watched. Did you know that Jets Eagles game was like it was in like so many millions of viewers. It was like a highly watched game, right? This normally goes for primetime. My primetime rule: the team that loses on primetime, I love to bet them the next week, right? So that, for example, would be like the Giants this week. Guess who I'm going to bet on that watched the Giants game? The team that lost. Those New York Giants lost to the Bills. I will probably be on the Giants. But all I'm saying is everyone saw Philly lose. And everybody – you got to play the number, right? Playing the number, which I think last week was like play the Browns number if it gets super high. Play the Jets at 6.5, 7. Playing the number. This number is under a field goal. Under a field goal. I get a home favorite under a field goal against a team that Tua doesn't like, what a lot of quarterbacks don't like, but Tua really doesn't like it, which is quarterback pressure. Tua, like quarterback pressure is bad for Tua. Like he's get this little CTE, he brings it back in his head. He doesn't want to get another concussion. And what do the Eagles, they happen to do really well. The front four gets pressure on the quarterback. They got that little baby rhino, Jalen Carter. He's going to bull and run his way over. He's going to meet Tua a few times. Tua's not going to want to meet Jalen Carter, but he's going to meet him. Philly's going to win. I hate what I'm about to say. Philly's going to win. And there's going to be an over. There's going to be points in this game. Ooh. Miami's going to get 21. I feel like they get 21 in their sleep. They got 20 on the Bills, and they got beat 40-something to 20-something. So I like the over as well. And I like Philly. And what I hate, though, is, Mike, we've agreed on these 4 games.
This is the first time in the history of us doing football shows together that we have agreed 4 times.
I don't like it, and it's going to ruin me.
But good thing I'm here.
Some
differences in here.
Yeah, right. Well, let's have some differences, Anthony. What do you? You already went on this one, though. Wait a minute. Now I'm going to get you to weigh in on the next one.
The under. At least took
the under.
Yeah, you see, he tried to sneak in there to get a reset on his pick. He tried.
I think there's going to be like 20 brotherly shoves throughout the game, just to like maybe even on like second down, and 3,
right. I mean, the argument you're making, Anthony's not wrong, right? Their offense hasn't looked the same. Hurts hasn't looked great. Their OC's at a different place. DC's at a different place. But they're getting guys back. Philly's getting guys back too. Like I think Slay's coming back, or one of the D-backs. I'm not sure, but so the under's not a horrible play. I just think there's a lot of points are available.
Could be. Well, let's jump to the next game, which is near and dear to my heart. The Lions +3 at Baltimore. The over-under here is 42. And Andy, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to disagree here, Mikey. I have a good feeling. My good feelings, we are going to disagree. Look, it's going to be windy on those games, right? If you like the under, bet the under right now. It's going to be windy on the East Coast. Look, I'm just going to have to say it, and Mikey's not going to like it, and he's going to defend it. Like they played the Chiefs week 1 without Kelsey, without Chris Jones. They beat them by a point, right? It wasn't the same Chiefs team. The only good team Detroit's played, they lost to. The rest of their schedule is bad. They beat a bad Packers team. They beat a bad Carolina team. They just beat probably a bad Tampa team, right? They're going to go on the road. They're a very good team. They're a very good team. They seem to be working together. They're going on the road. Is Gibbs going to play in the game?
He's going to have to. Montgomery's out, so he's going to have.
Montgomery's out. Gibbs may or may not play. They're going to start Reynolds, right? Look, Reynolds made that awesome block. He knocked out 2 dudes, and it was cool. But he's a 3rd-string running back, right? He's not good. It's not like he's – did anybody – if you got him in your fantasy league, you're like, ugh, okay. I guess I'll go with Reynolds.
He's
not a good running back.
He had a good mop-up time a couple weeks ago.
They spread him out and run him out the slot sometimes too and stuff.
He's not good. It's going to be windy. Here's the other thing, Mikey, and I keep saying it. Do not want Jared Goff outdoors, right? I don't want him outdoors. This number is what the hope for me, this number, the Lions are going to come in and bet it down. 2.5, 2. Lions money is going to come in. The public loves the Lions. I don't. Not this week. The main difference, if you're like, what's the Ravens going to do run-wise, is Lamar Jackson's going to run, right? And that's going to be the thing. He's going to get out, and he's going to be the running difference in a game that's going to need some runners. Having said that, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens -3. It's a field goal. You're probably going to push one way or the other, push or lose, which is, pretty basic. And I'm going to take the over.
Okay, you're going to take the over, huh?
I'm going to switch it up. I think whatever happens, if let's say whoever gets out early, either team could do it. And I love the Lions. I'm rooting for the Lions. It's a really good team. I texted you last week. I won't bet against the Lions again. And I immediately did it. I'm immediately going to do it. But it's like I'm just playing the number. Also, the week of the Lions, like these stupid shows, like Lions best team in football, Lions best number 1 seed in the NFC. Like, stop. No. If the Lions and the Niners played right now, I don't care where that game's played. We're all taking the 49ers. Like, what? It's a pick 'em, and it's 49ers, Lions. I'm taking San Francisco.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Here's where I'm at with some of the things that you said, and I'm going to tell you, look back at history of any bad franchise or a good franchise, even that had like 10 to 15 bad years, right? And then they finally get a good team on the docket. What do they need to exercise those old demons of culture? You need a good little schedule boost early to get yourself rolling and feel good, man. And they do. And this is a good team feeling good. It's not a pretender feeling good, man. So I'm going to tell you what, the Ravens, they play good defense. That is going to happen. We know that. They're streaky at best on offense. And Andy, here's another thing you and I have talked a lot about back and forth. When the Ravens are out in front, they're great. When the Ravens are playing from behind, no thank you. No, thank you. That is not their thing to try to come back on somebody. So it's going to depend on who gets out early. I'll agree with you there 100%. But listen, this is a business trip for the Lions again, man. I'm telling you this right now, business trip. I'm taking the Lions. They can play anywhere their game travels. The defense is there right now. Listen, I'm all in on Detroit all the way. I'm taking the Lions. They're going to give me 3 points. I'm going to take that. Best believe I got the Lions on every teaser I'm playing this week. You're going to give me 9.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're going to give me 9 on the Lions. I'm taking that all damn day. Hey, listen, I'm going Lions and I'm going under. I'm going Lions and I'm going under.
I feel like I had to go over because I knew you were going to go the under, and I could not go 5 for 5 with you.
I'm absolutely going under. The weather's not going to be great. That's
why I want the under too, but I just couldn't agree. I just can't. We can't be 5 for 5. So,
well, this will be the one you'll get. Watch. All right, Anthony, what do you think about this great Lions football team?
Well, listen, I'm the AFC North guy here, right? So, first of all, I think it's odd that they're giving the Lions 3 points. But I also kind of get sick and tired over the years, everyone talking about the Ravens defense and the Steelers defense. And all they do is talk about Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, who haven't played in a decade. And with the Steelers, they bring up like Levon Kirkland, and Joey Porter, who haven't been there for 2 decades. And they always just talk about these defenses. Like, well, who's the best defense in the league right now? The Browns, right? And so the Ravens, I think this game's going to come down to weapons. And I think even with Montgomery out, who's had a year that has already surpassed expectations when he came over, right? Yeah. So I think Gibbs is going to play. Reynolds, although, like you're saying, he's a third-string running back for a reason, he's serviceable. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to take a line that I think I heard on PTI when they were talking about the 49ers. They're like, these dudes just want to play football. And I think Reynolds, not Josh, Craig, well, Josh too, but he falls under that bat. Like, he's happy to be on the field. He's going to do Rudy-style effort every play to get that block, and that's going to be his highlight. Yeah. And then the Ravens, Lamar's having a typical Lamar year, leading his team in rushing. But Edwards and Hill, they're just dudes at this point, right? Every year Dobbins unfortunately goes down, and then you fall on these two guys, and they average 3.2 yards a carry. And the only reason they have good rushing yards is because Lamar breaks one. And Andrews has been in and out. Zay Flowers has been in and out based on injuries. And I know, and Lions just got St. Brown back, right? Who had a huge game last week. Laporta was a little bit down, but he's due now for a Kittle type performance, these Iowa guys. And then if they're down, then you still got Khalif Raymond, and then you got Josh Reynolds on the outside. And Marvin Jones singing his way in there to get a good catch here and there outside of his first week blunder. So I think the Lions just have too many weapons, and I think Goff is in a state of playing football where he's almost like I'm not comparing him to Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's trying to just do mistake-free football, which is working. So he might take the mid-range jumper 10 times a game as opposed to the three-pointers, and it ends up working out in their favor a lot. And the Ravens, outside of the Browns game, what are you going to do? Outside of the Browns game where they steamrolled them, they've just been kind of blah. You take Lamar Jackson off that team, and they're nothing, right? So I'm going to take the Lions, obviously, with the points, but I'm going to take the over just because I think Lamar Jackson, he's someone, maybe Mahomes, and, get the ball and the Dolphins with 10 seconds left, and you still think he can score. He's one of the only few guys in the league that are still like that. So I just think if the Lions do get up, and they will because they have been up on pretty much everybody, minus the Chiefs in week 1, that this is going to be – it's going to get some points on the board late to kind of push us to that over. So Lions with the over.
Mikey, right. Do you know who's the most profitable quarterback against the spread in the last 5 years?
I'm going to guess Jared Goff just based on the question, but I wouldn't have said that.
That's correct. It's Jared Goff. Jared Goff is he's just money on covering these sort of games. So that's a reason if you want to play the Lions, that's a good reason to do it. I also think, like I said, I think you got to play the number, not the team. And I think it's a mistake a lot of people make gambling is playing the team. The number's telling you. The home field goal or less is telling you Ravens to me. So that's just I like Detroit better than Baltimore, but the number over the team.
Yeah, but I think you did make a real good point, Andy, for everybody out there. This is a betting show now, but Andy makes a good point that Lions money is going to start coming in, and that 3 is going to go down to 2.5. It ain't going to go up. If you're sitting at home saying, I'm going to wait for the hook and bet this game, you're not going to get it. You better get in at 3 right now if you want to bet this game.
Yeah, if you want Detroit.
If you want Detroit, yeah. I mean, all right, guys, last game of the week, near and dear to both of you guys. This one's going to be Chargers +5 at Kansas City. Over-under is 48. Andy, you go first because you always lay it out for us about the Chiefs at home.
Well, it's like a broken record, right? I'm going to be a broken record on this sort of thing. Look, what was it, 5, right? Like, look, you know where I'm going. Like, I'm not going to take the Chiefs. I won't take the Chiefs as any sort of like 4.5 favorite. And I at home. The Chiefs tend to do their best work on the road, right? Like they went, I bet on the Jets to cover when they went to New York, but they won. The Chiefs could have covered that game, except Mahomes slides down, right? So they didn't cover. But generally at the home games, it just doesn't happen for the Chiefs for whatever reason. They don't cover a lot of big numbers. I'm going to read you the Chargers since January 1st. When we're counting the wild card game, the points difference in every game that mattered for them, okay? Like what the final score was, what's the difference in points. So we had that wild card game against the Jags, right? I'm not going to go through every one. Let's start with a week before it, right? So January 1st of this year, they won by 21 against a bad Rams team. Let's take that out of it.
Okay.
And here we go. Just as winner, doesn't matter if they won or lost, but here's just the point difference. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 3. Right?
Yeah.
So that tells me that the Chargers are going to do what the Chargers do, which is they're probably going to blow it some way in the end. Like even last week on Monday night. In that game, it's 10-7 in top of the third, maybe against the Cowboys, and they could have kicked a field goal, right, to tie it up, but they went for it on 4th down. Stupid. Take the points. And you know what they need at the end of that game? A field goal, right? They needed a field goal to win that game. So I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think it's going to be an over game. I just think the way these two teams play every year, it's like 27-24, 31-28. Mahomes, somebody like Chargers will score a late touchdown to cover in some way, or Kansas City will score a late touchdown. Well, they wouldn't cover; they'd lose. But I'm gonna take the Chargers in the over.
All right, Chargers in the over, no doubt. Well, listen, I think you bring up a good point about the Chargers blowing it a lot. I'm sorry, Anthony, I got a bag on your boy here for a minute, man. Staley has just been so bad. He has been so bad. And this is a guy that from minute one was heralded for his analytics that were outside the box, not like new age NFL analytics, but this guy had analytics that were like outside the box. Like you didn't quite understand what he was doing or why he was doing it, but it just made sense because he's some kind of genius, but it would never work out and it never made sense. And then We find out that his analytical book was written by Kanye West. So you think he's a genius. You find out he's just hearing voices. I mean, that's all that's happening with Staley. He's not a genius. He's just hearing voices, I think, because he's bad choices all the time. I think he's going to be fired at the end of the season. I hate to bag on the guy. He'll probably go somewhere and be a great coordinator, but this has not worked out for him. That being said, I'm going to go against you here, Andy. You should have just waited because I'm going against you here. I'm going Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs to cover. Some kind of blunder by Staley will give me the points I need to cover this game, and I am going Chiefs to cover and taking the over. Anthony, tell us what you think, man.
All right. Well, just pre-warn, my headphones might go off, so let's dive into this. So yeah, I Staley, John Carroll guy. I can't defend it too much, but I will say this. I think there's two quarterbacks in this league that are the least criticized, and I don't know why. One of them to me is Derek Carr, and then the other one is Herbert. Everyone has Herbert on the top 5 list of all their quarterbacks. What has he done? My boy Baker has more playoff wins than he does. He missed a lot of open throw. That one to Keenan Allen, I could have made that throw. There are a lot of guys.
That was an 80-yard touchdown.
And if he's that good, you don't miss that throw. And not only miss it, you missed it by like 3 feet. So you're number one guy. So I just don't understand the highly toutedness of him. And it is one of those like chicken and egg. Does it go on the coach? Does it go on the players? I mean, the truth is it's a mix, right? It's going to be a mix. And they do have Eckler back now full go. He was kind of stifled last week. I don't know if he was on a pitch count or what they were doing, but that game was bad for them. So my mind tells me to take them in the Andy version of like they lose on prime time, take them the next week. But the Chiefs. The Chiefs are so good at this point. No one's going to talk to them until it's playoff time. So like they're going to be there. They're going to end the season at 14-3, and they're going to be there. And I do think the Chiefs are on an upswing because Pacheco's playing like a number one, and they've been for the last couple of years they've been switching guys out, revolving door. And then he's also, I think, the only receiver kind of steady for them right now is the rookie Rice. And I think each game he might be getting like 1 or 2 more targets. I mean, Kelsey's obviously going to be there, and Watson and all the other backup tight ends are going to get their 1 to 2 catches a game. But I think Mahomes is trying to hit a hot streak with Rice. I still don't think he trusts Tony after that first game. I think they gave him an end around just to appease him last week. But yeah, I just can't trust the Chargers to come back. All those scores Andy just spelled out. It's like, you got to win one of those because you've been in position to win, if not all of them, at least a lot of them. And you haven't come out with that. Now, granted, you're going for 4th downs every other time. What are you going to do? I personally like watching that, but it's got to be
inside your own 30-yard line.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when did Belichick do that against the Colts like 15 years ago or whatever that was, and people tore him to shreds, but now that's like the norm. So I just think the Chiefs at home is just, I usually bet against the Chiefs because like I want to bet against the big dog, but like I think they're gonna cruise control through this. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs. Give the Chargers the points. I'm still going to take the Chiefs, and I am going to take the over just because I think both teams can put up a lot of points. And outside that Thursday night stinker with the Broncos, Chiefs can still score from every angle. I will say though, does MVS even have any catches this year? I
don't know.
Mahomes has had a revolving door of receivers the past couple years, but I think this is like I don't want to say his worst batch, but it just seems like a bunch of random guys out there, and he's still.
It is. They only seem to have one guy on the roster that was a veteran or sort of veteran, and then the young guys could come along under him. And then this batch, they just went, give me all young guys. They'll all figure it out together. Not working out. Interesting rumor right now is Jerry Jeudy for a 3rd-round pick. The Chiefs are looking into it.
I wouldn't do it.
If I was the Chiefs, I'd do it. What's a 3rd-round pick to you? And they need somebody that can. I mean.
But what has he done?
He's been pretty good on bad teams. I think if you put him in Kansas City, he'd be better than anybody they got for a 3rd-round pick.
I'd take Sutton. I don't know if I'd take.
I don't know, man.
I
like Sutton better. I like Sutton better too. I do.
I think the Chiefs. I think I saw a stat a couple weeks ago. If you look at how much the wide receivers they cut yards wise last year versus this year. This year they have more yards.
Really?
So, I do think it's a little overblown personally. Like they're 5-1. Their very first game they lost to a very good Detroit team with a bunch of young dudes, right? Like
and no Chris Jones
and no Chris Jones and no Kelsey, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like they're being held to watching them on prime time in the first game that we all watched. And we're all like, they all suck. Like, hey, they might not all suck, is my point. Like Rice, Tony was so bad. Tony was so bad in that first game. He ruined all the other wide receivers because everybody's like, they're all Tonys. Like Rashee Rice.
Contagious, man.
Rashee Rice is good. Rashee Rice is going to be a guy, I think, in your dynasty football leagues. You're going to want to have Rashee Rice because by the end of the year, you might be like, hey, this is a gem.
10 targets a game.
Is he back? Is he back this week?
I think he's going to play it. I think he'll be
okay. And what about the other kid that's the punt returner? That's the wide receiver.
There's Sky Moore. There's Justin, and whatever his name is.
Yeah, they were talking like Sky Moore was going to be the guy after the Super Bowl.
He's not the guy.
He's back,
right?
He's back into his role.
MVS. There's just a lot of dudes, and then you get Kelsey. Like, look. I'm also a guy who thinks the Chiefs have looked bad offensively, and they have. There's something just doesn't feel right. You know, they have this circus with Taylor Swift, and they just have a lot of wild things kind of happening. They're like the '98 Bulls all of a sudden. You know, like it's like. It's not great, but I just think if there's two things I can trust is that the Mahomes will be there in the end. Yeah, and Andy Reid will have these wide receivers ready by like week 13, 14.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
It's going to be one of those teams again. It's going to be like it always is. I think with Kansas City, it's going to be like the Final Four of the AFC. They're going to have a home game against fucking the Jags or the Bengals, and they're going to win. You're going to be like, are we really going to have the Chiefs in another Super Bowl? And we'll see if they can win, and then we'll see if they can win in Buffalo. Right?
You're talking like they're like 2-3,
right?
2-4.
Exactly.
They're 5-1.
Yeah. 5-1. Right now, they would have home field advantage. Like it's. I just think it's overblown. I think the wide receiver they're bad right now, but they win. They find a way to win.
Well, I'll tell you why I think they're a slam dunk to go straight back to the Super Bowl is, like you said, man, Mahomes and that offense, they'll figure it out and they'll start getting better as they start getting healthier. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing better defense than they've played on any of those Super Bowl winners.
Right.
This is their most dangerous team because we know the offense can be better. We're not hoping they get better. They will be better. And this defense is 2 times what you thought it would be when the season started, right?
It's good. It's good. It's what makes the under kind of appealing, right? Because you're like, this Chiefs defense is good.
Yeah.
I just think I just kind of want to say Herbert will find a way to get some points on him.
By the way, sorry if you guys have brought this up already, but I think the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift is 100% just PR propaganda.
Brilliant.
I think it's genius on both sides. Everyone benefits. It's a win-win-win. But all of a sudden, Travis Kelce's in 10 different commercials right when Taylor Swift's tour ends and her Eras premieres in theaters. And now she gets a segment of the audience that she probably didn't have the blue-collar football guys, following her, and now she does, and vice versa. And here's my caveat to it. I think Travis Kelce wants to he wants to be up in movies and all that other stuff. And I feel like he wants to go out when his brother goes out. And I think if they win the Super Bowl this year, he might retire.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Same age as Gronk, by the way. Same age.
And he's going to go down as, then you can have that discussion. Who's the greatest tight end of all time? I mean, maybe his rookie season, he only had like 900 yards, but I'm pretty sure he's been over 1,000 every other year since that. But that's my tinfoil hat.
Hey.
Because he's also getting injured more now. He was,
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
He's what, 30? He's 33 now or 34?
Yeah,
34.
33, 34. I don't know.
Yeah, 34.
I mean, he could play longer, but I think he wants to go out with his brother. And also their podcast is now once again #1.
Yeah.
Well, you guys heard it here first. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
I'm sure there's a million other people saying the same thing.
No, sir. Anthony Fanelli said it. Get on your sports book right now. Bet on Kelce to retire after the Super Bowl. Bet on that right now. You can get in on that at about 25,000 to 1, I think.
That's if they win it. Go out Peyton Manning, Jerome Bettis style with the
bat. I'll give you one, Anthony. Here's one. Outside, I always have Fields to Atlanta, right? Get Justin Fields, traded to Atlanta. Yeah. Bears, here's mine. Bears burn it down at the end of the year. Bears are bad. Burn it down. New coach. Guess who that new coach is? The offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, the young guy.
Maybe.
That's the guy. He's going to come in. He knows the division. He's been waiting. He's going to get a good quarterback, Caleb Williams, and that's what's going to make it interesting for him to leave the Lions, because he's going to get the choice of the quarterback, and he's going to run the Bears.
I'm going to make a prediction here and tell you that if the Lions make a Super Bowl run, nobody's leaving.
You think they'll run it back?
No, I mean, yeah. Oh, yes. Nobody will leave. These guys are in it. I'm telling you.
I'm going to make a prediction on top of that prediction is when that dude gets offered $45 million to come coach the Bears, he's going to be like, see you, Detroit. Hello, Michigan Avenue.
Lions will pay him.
But what if Caleb Williams?
It won't pay an assistant as much as the Bears will.
But Caleb Williams already said he didn't want to play for he only wanted to play for teams that are drafting in the late 20s every year.
Yep.
Oh, sure. Me too. I only want to work at the best places.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Well, he's going to have the option. I mean, he's going to have the option, no doubt about it. Well, listen, guys, Anthony, awesome to have you back on the show doing picks again, man. Playoffs are right around the corner, man. We'll be back at it doing that again. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, maybe later on down the stretch, we'll have you back on again before the playoffs get solidified in the standings. Maybe if you want to do that, buddy.
I appreciate it. Anytime. Keep me on your bench. Someone calls in sick one day, just ring me up. I'm here.
Right. All right, man. Well, we will definitely hit you up. In the meantime, you guys hit it up, man. RustBeltClub.com. Get on there. Check out some stuff. No doubt about it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
All right, buddy.
Later.
All right, hey, man. Thanks for doing the show, bro. Appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Wanna bet?
It's time for another episode of All Right Bet.